What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome into another episode of My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, Sleaze. The Week 15 Fantasy Football Playoffs are here. We're going to be diving into my smash start quarterbacks and tight ends. I usually do 6. I'm going to throw a bonus 7th one on there this week. Now, before we go into it, guys, as always, make sure you tap that thumbs up, hit that subscription button, turn that bell on. It helps me out a ton. Can't thank you guys enough for all the support this season. I'll be live Thursday and then throughout the entire weekend this week. But if you guys are new in here, I always like to go back and I like to show the transparency. Sorry, man, this pneumonia is just absolutely lights out. But I like to show the transparency from last week so I can be better for you guys and better for myself. And man, I've been trying to hit this 100%. So I don't take the superstar names, right? I take players usually outside the top 10 overall and try to call them a smash start with the matchup and the information that I give. So I've been trying to hit 100%. It's damn hard. Look at the week I just had, though. This was a monster week before the playoffs. We hit 70% of the calls here, 11 for 16. And it shows you at the top left. And again, this is my Twitter if you want to check it out. Same exact name. 20 points for a quarterback, running back, floor, 12 points, 20-point upside with TD upside. Wide receiver, same thing. And then tight ends, we go for 10-point floor with 15-point upside because tight ends are always a lot harder. And then, boom, last week I hit all 3 tight ends, Kincaid, Pitts, Goddard. All the quarterbacks, Jordan Love, Sam Darnold. Everyone tried to tell me no on Sam Darnold. I told you Sammy D's going to bounce back with Jay Season. Jared Goff as well. That hit. And on the running back side, I missed on Quinshon Judkins and Kenneth Walker, but hit on Kyron Williams, Chase Brown, and R.J. Harvey. And then wide receivers, I missed on Olave. BTJ was like 3 points off. He finally had a bounce-back game. And then Adonai Mitchell, of course, Tyrod Taylor gets hurt in the first quarter, so that didn't help. And then we hit on Jameson Williams and Christian Watson. Big monster week to have before the fantasy football playoffs there of smash start calls. We are going to go for 100% this week. Take it to the bank, and I even threw a little extra in there on top this time for the quarterback tight end. Now, if you guys haven't checked out drafters.com or the guys' FF Premium Discord, both those links are pinned in the comment. We talk fantasy football in there 24/7 off stream, so make sure you check those out if you haven't. Now, let's dive into my smash start quarterbacks and tight ends for the fantasy football playoffs opening round. Starting off with quarterback number 1, and to me, it wouldn't really count as a smash start, but we are playing to the consensus here because he is quarterback 5 overall in the season, and that is going to be Matthew Stafford of my Super Bowl pick, Los Angeles Rams. And yes, behind me, I'm a San Francisco 49ers fan. Now, what you have to look at here, besides the revenge game narrative of Detroit coming back into Matt Stafford's house, he wants to stick it to the Lions. 8-5, 10-3 Rams, playoff implications on the line. 55.5 over under in this game. My goodness, this is the highest scoring game of the week by a mile, and I think it's going to be a shootout as well. And this is like an easy 20-point game for Matt Stafford for me. And people don't respect Stafford still, thinking that he's older. Look at this guy. Look at all of his numbers right there on the chart. This guy's unbelievable. He's chasing MVP here. Now, when you're looking at this game, what happened to the Detroit Lions besides all the injuries they had? They just lost Branch for the season as well when he went down in the end zone. Their secondary is absolutely so beat up, and you can just tell right here why. Over the past 4 weeks, the Detroit Lions, they give up 23 points a game to the quarterback. That is 31st, 1,111 yards. That is tied for dead last. 7 passing touchdowns, tied for second last. And they're just hemorrhaging points after points after points because all the injuries they have in the secondary. So Matt Stafford, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, they're all going to the moon this week. Smash Matt Stafford, and I'm probably going to have him as a top 3 quarterback this week overall in rankings. Well, if we're going to target one defense that is beat up in the secondary in the Detroit Lions, we're going to target another defense that is beat up in the secondary, very, very bad in the Washington Commanders, and the second smash start is going to be Jackson Dart. He's going to be playing against the Washington Commanders this week, and what I just said about their defense, they're down Amos, they're down Lattimore, linebackers banged up, their defense is shambles. Now, I know when you look last week against New England, wasn't the Jackson Dart game you wanted. He did take that crazy hit out of bounds for like 10 yards in the air where he popped. He said he's not going to change his running style, which is scary, especially for dynasty owners or, redraft how it is if you're playing him this week, because this guy's taking monstrous hits. But the matchup is so good here. I mean, the Washington Commanders, this defense you target across the board, every single position. And yeah, even if he, decides to run and gets hit, that's just a risk I'm willing to take here. But there's also an interesting thing about this as well. Like, the Giants win this game, they will fall out of the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. So that's like the only thing I'm kind of worried about here. How does this play out with Jackson Dart down the stretch? Because they have a beautiful schedule coming. And not only do they have Washington, they get Minnesota, Las Vegas coming up here for him as well, too, which is great. But are they trying to keep that 1 spot? So that's one thing I'd be worried about. But when you're looking at the Commanders, so let's just go, we'll go on the season. This is the past 4 weeks here. On the season, they're ranking 29th. They give up 20 points per game. They've given up 26 passing touchdowns, which is tied for 3rd worst. I know you got no neighbors, but you still got Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton, Theo Johnson. The connection's growing. Maybe Tyrone Tracy's back out there with Singletary. Jackson Dart is just, this guy would lead the NFL in rushing if he wasn't hurt for the games he missed, and he started at the beginning of the season, so he's missed 5 or 6 games because of it. He would have 1,000 yards rushing. I mean, he looks unbelievable. I'm smashing Jackson Dart this week. Smash start quarterback number 3, my boy Brock, the pretty boy Purdy, is going up against the Tennessee Titans, coming off a bye. Oh my God, that's too much time for Shanahan to draw up plays here. The Tennessee Titans are going to be in big, big trouble. When we look at this game, and they're even giving the over-under right now, and it's currently at, sorry, clear my throat here real quick. It's at 44.5, and we know that the Titans are not scoring points. So that's how much they think the Niners are going to have possession of this game. Ball control, Niners are favored by 12.5. I like all of it. Of course, I'm a Niner fan telling you that, but I like to be, at least somewhat not biased to the situation here. So not only that, the Titans, the past 4 weeks, they've just been getting killed. And Shadur Sanders just dropped 40 on them. Remember that, in a cold game, right? Now we're in California, no weather problems here, right? So 22.2 points per game, ranking 29th. They're tied with 1,111 yards exactly with the Detroit Lions for dead last in yardage. 8 passing touchdowns, which is last. Brock Purdy, Kittle, CMC. Hopefully we get Ricky Pearsall back moving again here. He's been kind of in a slump here. Juan Jennings. Brock, this is going to be an absolute light him up Brock Purdy game. You just got to hope that the game script kind of stays intact here. Smash start, number 1 tight end, player number 4 overall. And again, I don't know if Harold Fannin really counts, but we're going to cover all bases here because, again, he's kind of like the Matt Stafford. Like, people still don't trust Harold Fannin in redraft. You got to trust this guy, man. So last week, you get David Njoku with the touchdown in the first quarter. He goes down, and his body's like shaking. Prayers up to him. His status is unknown for week 15. I'm going to go with he misses. He's been banged up all year long. It's almost like to the shutdown time with David Njoku. I mean, he's been playing like 40% snaps, hasn't been himself. So then you get the Shadur Sanders Game 3 emergence with Harold Fannin. You get 11 targets. You get 8 catches, 114 yards, the clutch go-to touchdown. And now this is 3 games in a row over 10-plus points. And if you look at the entire season, yes, this guy's tied in 6. Look at his numbers. They're phenomenal for a 21-year-old, which is crazy. But he's had only 4 games under 10 points. That is how consistent he has been. Absolute superstar in the making, and the connection with Shadur Sanders is growing. You're going to get the Chicago Bears. It's going to be another cold game. They just played in the cold. They're Cleveland. They're used to this. And the Chicago Bears, over the last 4 weeks, they ranked middle of the pack, giving up 11 points a game. But the focal point and the way they use Harold Fannin is not just a tight end. This is a wide receiver playing tight end at 6'4". They Z-back, inline, outline, X, Y. They move this guy all over the place, as you can see by his slot snaps right there, number 11 in the NFL with 184. So tight end rankings, I throw him out the window when it comes to Harold Fannin. This man is a unicorn and is a must-start for the rest of the way, especially with the David Njoku injury and how Shadur Sanders is looking. Smash start number 5, tight end number 2. And, I mean, how many times is it going to take? And this is like for all of you guys listening. How many questions? How many... Is it Kyle Pitts for like the past 2 weeks? Yeah, I've had Kyle Pitts as a smash for the past 2 weeks, and I still have to talk you guys in to starting Kyle Pitts. I know that he's earned that over his career. That's fine. This is another Kyle Pitts smash game again here, guys. That is 18 points back-to-back games. 18 targets. That's 9 average per game. 172 yards. That's 86 yards per game. This guy is getting funneled from Kirk Cousins, and it is because Drake London is out, and Drake London didn't practice again today. Yeah, they said he's day-to-day, but it's a short week. You're going up against Tampa here. And Falcons are playing for nothing. I don't think they're going to just throw Drake London out there. Even if Drake London's out there, I still like Kyle Pitts because the matchup, then you'll have to bracket over top and play more attention to Drake London. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they rank 26th versus the tight end, giving up 15.3 points per game. That is what you want. I absolutely love Kyle Pitts again, and it is time to start getting on board with this man. Smash start number 6, tight end number 3 is going to be T.J. Hockenson of the Minnesota Vikings. And I know people haven't been excited about the start, but he's been on my smash for the past 2 weeks, and he's averaged over 10 points in the past 2 weeks with 15 and 10.2 last week, finding the touchdown. But what you have to look at as well, and if you own T.J. Hockenson and you played him last week, congrats for the touchdown. You're welcome. But here's what we need to look at. He did play 56% of the snaps because the game was 28-0 before it even started, and then JD5 went down, and they didn't even use TJ Hockenson that much the rest of the game. Now, you're going to get the Dallas Cowboys at Jerry's World this week. You're looking at an over-under of 48.5, probably going to go up to 49.5. Justin Jefferson should draw the attention. But the Dallas Cowboys defense is terrible. So at least we got to see the sign of life with J.J. McCarthy getting 3 touchdowns, all to his tight ends, and Josh Oliver got 2 of them, and T.J. Hockenson got 1. Now you're in a game script where you're playing from behind, going to be more pass-heavy. You're not going to be able to lean on Mason, not going to be able to lean on Jones as much in this game because the Cowboys' run D's gotten even better since Quinnen Williams' addition either way. So you're going to have to be pass-heavy here. They're going to have to rely on 9, and I really, really like T.J. Hockenson again as a start. And he's available on waiver wires in 40% of leagues, which is absolutely bonkers to me. Smash start number 7. I told you I'd give you a little bonus here at the end, and this is your fantasy football pot of gold. The Cincinnati Bengals, chasing historically bad numbers versus the tight end, and it's not even close. It is so crazy. So let me just give you the past 4 weeks. And yeah, it's going to be Isaiah Likely, but I did put Mark Andrews in there as well because every single tight end, doesn't even matter if it's the tight end 2, the tight end 3, they all eat against the Bengals. Think about Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid last week. Think about Andrews and Likely the week before that. Think about Hunter Henry. Think about Pittsburgh and their 4 touchdowns to 3 tight ends. It's just out of control. They cannot stop the middle of the field at all. And let's talk about how bad their numbers are. Last 4 weeks, dead last, 32nd, 27 points per game. That's in a 4-week span. Let's go on the season. On the season, 24 points, dead last. Now, to give you how bad that is, when I say historically bad, 24.1 points per game average is bad, right? Second behind them in 31st is 16.4 in the Seattle Seahawks on the season. That is an 8 points per game average difference to the tight end position. That is why I have Likely and Mark Andrews up here together, because I think they're both going to smash, but I am going to ride with Likely being the hotter hand here, seeing more targets over the past 2 weeks, 14 points, 15 points, and he's, got screwed on 2 touchdowns. This guy's just been so unlucky, putting the ball over the 1, got it stripped, 3 foot down last week. I think they won that game. I think that was a touchdown, took it away from him there. So the redemption's coming here, and both these tight ends are going to be smash plays for me, but I'm leading towards Isaiah Likely more. And don't even think about it. You start every tight end versus the Bengals. This is so bad, it's crazy. Thanks for rocking with me today. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. That is the end of my smash start. 3 quarterbacks, 4 tight ends that you should have in your lineups that I think are going to hit the floors and the projections that I gave throughout the video. Remember, guys, if you guys have any questions, comments, it does not have to pertain to this video. It is playoff week. Drop them down below. I'm going to get to every single one of them, regardless of what it is, throughout the rest of the playoffs as well here, all the way to week 17. So, if we're looking back at the season weeks, week 13, week 12, and the questions are crazy. I missed a couple. I'm going to get to every single one of them this week, guys. Now, before we head out, as always, make sure you tap that thumbs up, hit that subscription, turn that bell on again so you know when I'm live this weekend. And then again, if you haven't checked out, the sponsors, drafters.com or the guys FF, both those links are pinned down below. That's it for me in this episode. My next one is going to be smash start running backs and then smash start wide receivers, 5 each. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Sleazebum out.